What's up, folks? So as you can see, I'm building something, and the reason I'm doing that is because I got a letter from the homeowners association. Got to get that damn car in the garage. So anyways, I'm building a dolly. I just got to order 4 casters, and then as soon as the casters get here, I'll put those on there, and we'll be able to put that under the Civic, put it back down, and then roll the chassis right back into the garage, and actually use it on that, because these casters got about 550 pounds per wheel of capacity, so that gives us about 2,200 pounds of it gives us about 2,200 pounds of, you know, Jesus fuck, I can't. So right now I'm making on the 4 corners down here, they'll be where you can stack, but they'll be all screwed together, 11-inch cubes. And so I'm going to make those out of this 3x3 stock, and that'll be the corners. And then I'll use some more of these deck boards around the edges to give it some extra strength and stability. My my project, whatever you want to call it, but whenever I need to do something with wood, right here in the backyard. What's up, y'all? So just wrapped up in a client's office. Looks like the internet was down there. Turned out that it was just the Wi-Fi. I can explain more about that later, but it doesn't revolve around cars, so who gives a shit? Anyways, brought a switch with me, didn't need it, thankfully. We're gonna head back to the garage and start working on stuff and get out of this close. See you in a bit. All right, let's go. Got a McFlurry, a Shamrock McFlurry. Waiting on that food. Say hello to the world.
Hi. Oh, that's YouTube.
Yeah. All right, let's get that Big Mac. Thank you very much. Take care. What's up, y'all? We're back. Looks like the weather's starting to turn around. Getting some rain now. But that's why we got the garage, right? And that's why we built. Well, half of the reason we built that was because of the HOA letter. So, but also so we can move the car in and out of the garage as needed. You know, when I need some more space in the garage, we could just push the car out, or if we want to work on the car out there, makes it easy to move it around. I think the next big thing that I ever do to the garage is probably going to be getting one of those low lifts that'll pick the car up about 2 or 3 feet off the ground. That would be perfect. So, all right, let's see what's next.
and I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Furious anger. I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Furious anger. Furious anger. Furious anger. Furious anger. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Furious anger. I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Furious anger.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon it. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon it. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon it. Lay my vengeance, lay my vengeance, lay my vengeance, lay my vengeance.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Furious anger. I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Furious anger. Furious anger. Furious anger. Furious anger. Furious anger.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon it. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon it. Lay my vengeance, lay my vengeance, lay my vengeance, and you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon it. Lay my vengeance.
Let me give you some advice, bastard. Never forget what you are. Bastard, never forget what you are. Bastard, never forget what you are. Bastard, wear it like honor. 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 Wear it like Let me give you some advice, bastard. Never forget what you are.
Nope. Too heavy. Just make sure nothing's leaking. All right, good. All right, so you can see I've already got the access cover for the shift cable and everything was removed beforehand. And this was done when the engine was removed. So let me go get the cover and I'll show you what you'll have to remove. All right, y'all. So this is the plate. So normally you would have the cable coming in here. Here is a bolt. If I remember right, these are 12mm bolts. There's 3 of them. And once you remove those 2, this simply does just come off just as easily. Now, for the cable that will be coming in here will attach, and there is a pin and cotter pin that you need to remove. So you remove that cotter pin, slide the pin out, and the cable comes right off. It'll drop right out. It does have a fitting that lines up right in here. So you take that off, cable comes off, and you're pretty much good to go there. The next is removing this plate, and then you'll start seeing the back end, or at least you'll see the where the torque converter and the flex plate meet. All right, y'all. Well, to access the bottom, we're gonna have to take off this cover plate. 1, 2, and 3 bolts, 4 bolts. Take that off. It'll be one of the steps to getting the transmission off. Hopefully this thing's in neutral. Otherwise, it might be a bitch to get this thing turned around. You should be able to manually manipulate it from here, regardless. Yep.
Bastard, never forget what you are. Bastard, never forget what you are.
There we go. Now, torque converter is loose from the flex plate. Now you can see the difference in the two. Real thin plate right here, and there is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Incorrect, minus 3 because it was here. So looks like there was 8. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So 8 10mm bolts that go onto the flex plate to the torque converter. Let's go ahead and get these 14mm bolts. For the intermediate shaft. Ooh. Man, well, them bad boys are impacted on there. There we go. Now these are good bolts to hold on to, especially if you're going to have extra ones. These are, you'll notice there's a shoulder on there, and that is for the bracket. It keeps the bracket perfectly centered for where it's bolted onto. So make sure to use those bolts when you reinstall your motor. So 3 of those. Usually a little light tap will take that off, because there is normally a snap ring. On this one, there is no snap ring. On the actual on the other axle, however, CV joint, there is a snap ring that would be right here at the top. So you could use a small hammer to tap that out, and could actually show you that that's how this would be. So I could probably tap this off. Maybe not. And that's probably half the reason that I didn't get this one off and just cut the boot. All right, it's like 12s maybe. Yep. Got two 12 millimeters, one here and one under the bottom right here. And I'm using hand tools here because most people do, so why not? If I had a battery operated impact, I'd use that, but nope. Most of y'all are going to be using probably hand tools. Unless you're lucky enough to have good power tools. And to be honest with you, I like disassembling the motors and stuff by hand. Because you can feel, wow, look at that. That is full of oil for some weird reason. We're gonna have to see if that bolt runs all the way through. Wow. Oh, that's long though. Oh, you know what? That bolt's probably just leaked from the oil pan gasket here and it pooled, and oil will run upwards if it can. Especially if it has something to like climb, you know, a thread or something, the oil will go upwards if it possibly can. All right. Now you'll have to take the starter off along the way as well, and that'll be the next step. I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up, turn it around. So we got 12 millimeter here. There's another 12 millimeter right there. Correction, that's a 14. Wow, maybe I should tighten it, huh? Automatic transmission starter. Snout goes, it's a different distance. Double check. Nope. That's all the bolts. And there you have the flex plate. And the torque converter, which slides right off. Now you don't want to face that downward because there's still about a quart of transmission fluid or less, generally about a quart or so, still in the torque converter. So whenever y'all do, if you do have an automatic transmission and you need to service it, if you're having some hard time shifting and it's got a lot of miles on it, you could just do a simple drain and fill. A lot of guys want to do a flush, which I guess that's perfectly fine too, but there's also a lot of argument on doing a complete flush because it takes a lot of the friction material out of the fluid, and a lot of people complain about, you know, the system leaking afterwards too. So if you're having some transmission problems, you can always just kind of do a drain and fill. That's pretty much what the dealership generally does. Or they'll do the whole hydraulic flush. It just really depends on just how bad the shifting is in the transmission. So anyways, there you have it. This transfer case is the same across automatics and manuals. I believe, I'm pretty damn sure about that. So if that's the case, we'll probably be saving this for the Civic. Otherwise, it'll be.
Looks like the cops showed up.
The cops must have showed up for sure, 100%.